The easiest way to become rich is not through strain, struggle, or endless effort, but through alignment. Life was never designed to reward exhaustion. It was designed to reward understanding. When you understand how things truly work, money stops being something you chase and starts being something that moves toward you naturally. Easy mode begins the moment you stop fighting life and start cooperating with it. Most people believe money comes from hard work, sacrifice, and suffering. That belief alone keeps them poor. The world simply mirrors your inner agreements. If you agree that money must be earned through pain, life will faithfully give you painful ways to earn it. If you agree that money flows easily to you, life rearranges itself to confirm that belief. Wealth is not attracted by effort, but by expectation. Easy mode wealth begins in the mind. Your subconscious listens to everything you declare as true. When you speak of money as difficult, slow, or unfair, you give it instructions to stay away. When you speak of money as friendly, obedient, and abundant, you invite it closer. Words are not decoration. Words are commands. What you affirm consistently becomes your financial reality. The universe responds to clarity, not desperation. When you know that wealth is your natural state, you no longer beg, rush, or force outcomes. You move calmly, decisively, and without fear. This calm confidence opens doors that effort alone never could. Opportunities seek those who expect them. Easy mode does not mean laziness. It means inspired action instead of forced labor. It means doing the right thing at the right time instead of doing everything all the time. When you are aligned, one conversation can change your income, one idea can outperform years of grinding, one decision can collapse time and multiply results. People who struggle financially are often working against themselves. They feel unworthy of ease. They feel guilty receiving without effort. They sabotage success by believing they must suffer first. But life does not reward suffering. It rewards alignment. The river does not strain to flow. It simply follows its nature. When you release resistance, money accelerates. Resistance appears as doubt, fear, jealousy, and comparison. The moment you stop comparing your path to others, your path clears. The moment you stop fearing loss, gain appears. The moment you trust that provision is inevitable, it becomes immediate. Easy mode wealth is built on the assumption that you are supported. When you expect support, you notice it everywhere. You meet the right people. You receive timely ideas. You avoid costly mistakes without knowing why. What feels like luck is simply alignment made visible. Gratitude is a shortcut to wealth. When you appreciate what you already have, you signal that you are ready for more. Complaining blocks flow. Appreciation expands it. The universe gives more to those who acknowledge abundance, not to those who complain about lack. Money is obedient. It follows belief, not need. Needing money repels it. Expecting money attracts it. This is why relaxed people often prosper faster than anxious ones. Anxiety communicates distrust. Calmness communicates faith. Faith is magnetic. Easy mode requires releasing the belief that life is harsh. Life reflects your assumptions. Assume friendliness and life becomes friendly. Assume hostility and obstacles multiply. Wealth grows fastest in an atmosphere of trust. You are not here to convince the world. You are here to align yourself. When you stop trying to prove your worth and simply know it, circumstances reorganize. Knowing replaces effort. Certainty replaces force. Inspired ideas come when the mind is still. Overthinking blocks insight. Stillness invites solutions. Many fortunes were created in moments of clarity, not moments of exhaustion. When you slow down internally, you speed up externally. Easy mode wealth often arrives indirectly. It may come through unexpected channels, new paths, or ideas unrelated to your current work. When you are attached to only one way, you limit supply. When you remain open, supply surprises you. You do not need to understand how it will happen. You only need to know that it will. The how belongs to life. Your job is belief, alignment, and action when prompted. When you try to control everything, you interfere with flow. Speak wealth as present, not future. Say, I am provided for, not I will be someday. The present tense carries power. The subconscious does not respond to someday. It responds to now. Release fear of losing money, and money stops leaving. Fear creates leakage. Trust creates retention. Wealth stays where it feels welcome. Easy mode is not about manipulating reality, it is about cooperating with it. When you move with life instead of against it, effort decreases and results increase. What once felt heavy becomes natural. What once felt distant becomes normal. You were never meant to struggle endlessly for survival. You were meant to express, create, and receive. The moment you accept that ease is allowed, life begins to prove it to you. Riches are not reserved for the chosen few. They are available to those who choose alignment over resistance, trust over fear, and expectation over effort. Easy mode activates the moment you decide that life is on your side. Wealth flows through alignment and expectation, not struggle and force. This is the truth most people never consider, because they were taught the opposite from the beginning. They were trained to believe that value is measured by exhaustion, that reward must come after suffering, and that ease is suspic. Yet life does not respond to struggle. Life responds to agreement. Whatever you agree with internally becomes law externally. Alignment means being in harmony with the nature of abundance. Abundance is calm, confident, and certain. It does not rush, beg, or panic. When you are aligned, you no longer argue with reality. You no longer push against invisible walls. You move with an inner knowing that things are working in your favor, even when appearances suggest otherwise. This knowing rearranges outcomes before effort ever begins. Expectation is the silent architect of results. People receive not what they want, but what they expect. If you expect difficulty, delays, and disappointment, you unconsciously prepare for them. You speak differently, choose differently, and hesitate at critical moments. Life obeys that expectation faithfully. When you expect ease, doors open without explanation. Conversations go smoothly. Decisions feel obvious instead of stressful. Struggle is often mistaken for seriousness. People believe that if they are not struggling, they are not trying hard enough. But struggle is resistance in disguise. It is the mind arguing with the flow of life. When you struggle, you are saying internally that things are not as they should be. This disagreement creates friction, and friction slows everything down. Force is the language of fear. People force outcomes because they do not trust timing. They push because they believe that if they relax, nothing will happen. Yet the most powerful results often come when action is guided, not frantic. Inspired action feels light, direct, and precise. Forced action feels heavy, scattered, and draining. Alignment shifts the quality of effort. You may still work, but the work feels different. It feels purposeful rather than desperate. It feels efficient rather than endless. One aligned action can outperform 100 forced ones. This is why some people seem to advance with minimal visible effort, while others remain stuck despite constant labor. Expectation shapes perception. When you expect wealth to flow, you notice opportunities you previously ignored. You hear ideas differently. You recognize value where others see nothing. The opportunity did not suddenly appear. Your alignment allowed you to see it. Reality changes not because the world shifted, but because your position within it did. Many people block wealth by believing they must prove themselves worthy. They think success must be earned through pain. This belief creates unnecessary obstacles. Life does not ask for proof, it responds to acceptance. When you accept that abundance is natural, you stop creating tests for yourself. Alignment also requires releasing inner conflict about money. If part of you desires wealth and another part fears it, judges it, or associates it with guilt, you send mixed instructions. Life reflects confusion with inconsistency. When your desire and belief are unified, movement becomes smooth. Expectation must be calm to be effective. Anxious expectation cancels itself. Saying I expect money, while fearing bills sends opposing signals. Calm expectation is quiet. It does not announce itself loudly, it simply assumes. Assumption is powerful because it does not ask for permission. Struggle often comes from watching others and measuring yourself against them. Comparison creates pressure. Pressure leads to force. Force blocks flow. Alignment is personal. Your path does not need to look like anyone else's. When you stop copying and start listening inwardly, your steps become lighter. Force is rooted in the belief that time is against you. Alignment knows that timing works with you. When you trust timing, you stop making premature decisions. You avoid costly mistakes not through effort but through intuition. This saves money, energy, and years of struggle. Expectation programs the subconscious. The subconscious controls habits, reactions, and patterns. When it is programmed for ease, you naturally choose actions that produce ease. You negotiate better without trying. You walk away from bad deals without fear. You attract cooperation instead of resistance. Alignment does not mean passivity, it means responsiveness. You move when moved, speak when prompted, act when clear. This responsiveness keeps you from wasting energy on battles that were never yours to fight. Force wastes energy. Alignment conserves it. People who live in force often believe life is hostile. They expect obstacles, betrayal, and scarcity. Life reflects this worldview faithfully. When you assume friendliness, life mirrors friendliness. Help appears. Support shows up unexpectedly. Problems resolve before becoming crises. Expectation also influences patience. When you expect results, you can wait without anxiety. Waiting without anxiety is not waiting at all, it is allowing. Allowing creates space. Space allows things to enter. Crowded minds repel solutions. Alignment brings emotional stability. Emotional stability attracts wealth because money moves toward order, not chaos. Calm people make clear decisions. Clear decisions compound into wealth. Emotional chaos leads to impulsive choices that undo progress. Force creates burnout. Burnout clouds judgment. Clouded judgment leads to loss. Alignment sustains energy. Sustained energy compounds over time. Wealth is not built by intensity alone, but by consistency guided by clarity. Expectation also affects how you receive. Some people push wealth away the moment it arrives because it feels unfamiliar. They self-sabotage through overspending, poor choices, or fear. When you expect wealth, it feels normal. What feels normal stays. Alignment with ease requires releasing the identity of the struggler. Some people unconsciously cling to struggle because it gives them meaning. They do not know who they are without it. Letting go of struggle can feel like losing identity, but what replaces it is clarity. Force tries to control outcomes. Alignment trusts direction. Control creates tension. Trust creates momentum. Momentum carries you farther with less effort. This is why ease often looks like acceleration from the outside. Expectation is strengthened through inner dialogue. What you repeatedly say internally becomes your financial climate. Speak of ease, flow, and provision, and your inner world becomes fertile ground. Speak of difficulty and unfairness, and growth becomes difficult. Alignment simplifies life. Complication is a sign of resistance. When things feel overly complicated, it is often because you are pushing instead of allowing. Simplicity returns the moment you stop forcing outcomes and start trusting guidance. Wealth on easy mode is not about escaping responsibility. It is about releasing unnecessary struggle. Responsibility with alignment feels light. Responsibility with force feels heavy. Life responds to the quality of your engagement, not the quantity. When expectation and alignment replace struggle and force, money no longer feels like a problem to solve. It feels like a response to your state of being. You stop chasing results and start embodying certainty. Circumstances adjust quietly, naturally, almost invisibly, as if they had been waiting for your agreement all along. Money responds to belief, words, and inner certainty more than hard work. This truth overturns everything most people were taught about success. They were told that effort equals reward, that the longest hours produce the biggest results, and that money is stubborn and must be chased. Yet money is not moved by exhaustion. It is moved by conviction. It follows the inner climate of the person handling it. Belief is the foundation of financial experience. What you believe about money determines how it behaves in your life. If you believe money is scarce, it becomes cautious around you. If you believe money is abundant, it moves freely. Belief is not a thought you visit occasionally. It is an assumption you live inside. Life arranges itself around assumptions, not wishes. Words are belief made audible. Every time you speak about money, you reinforce an instruction. Saying money is hard to earn makes it hard to earn. Saying money disappears quickly makes it disappear quickly. These are not figures of speech. They are commands. The subconscious does not argue, it executes. Most people speak against their own prosperity without realizing it. They joke about being broke. They complain about prices. They speak of money as if it were an enemy. Then they wonder why it avoids them. Money responds to tone. It moves toward respect, confidence, and expectation. Inner certainty is stronger than effort. A person with certainty makes decisions cleanly. They do not second-guess themselves at critical moments. They do not hesitate when opportunity appears. This decisiveness creates momentum. Momentum attracts resources. Hard work without belief produces fatigue, but not wealth. Belief without action produces imagination, but not results. But belief paired with inspired action produces disproportion. Own outcomes. The action feels small compared to the return because belief amplified it. Certainty changes how others respond to you. People trust those who trust themselves. Investors, clients, employers, and partners sense conviction instantly. This is why some people receive opportunities they appear unqualified for, while others remain invisible despite effort. Belief also governs what you allow. Many people unconsciously reject opportunities because they do not match their self-image. If you believe you are meant for struggle, ease feels suspicious. If you believe wealth belongs to you, receiving feels natural. Words spoken internally matter as much as spoken aloud. The inner dialogue runs constantly, shaping emotion and behavior. When that dialogue is filled with doubt, fear, and limitation, effort becomes confused. When the dialogue is calm and affirmative, action becomes precise. Money mirrors emotional states. Anxiety repels it. Calm attracts it. Confidence stabilizes it. This is why relaxed people often handle money better than stressed ones. Stress signals danger. Money avoids danger. Inner certainty allows patience. Patience prevents desperation. Desperation leads to poor financial choices. Certainty allows you to wait without fear, to say no without panic, and to walk away without regret. Belief also determines how you interpret setbacks. Those without belief see obstacles as proof of failure. Those with belief see them as redirection. Redirection saves me, money, and energy. Words shape identity. When you say you are bad with money, you become bad with money. When you say money flows to you easily, behavior aligns to support that statement. Identity always wins over intention. Hard work is visible, but belief is invisible. Society rewards what it can see, but life rewards what it can feel. Money feels certainty. It follows the one who expects it. Belief simplifies decision-making. Instead of chasing every opportunity, you choose what aligns. Alignment prevents overextension. Overextension destroys wealth faster than laziness. Inner certainty also protects wealth. People who doubt themselves often give money away emotionally before it leaves physically. They fear loss, so loss arrives. Certainty creates boundaries. Boundaries preserve resources. Words repeated consistently create patterns. Patterns become habits. Habits determine results. Changing words is not cosmetic, it is structural. A shift in language can shift income. Money responds to self-concept. If you see yourself as someone who struggles, money treats you accordingly. If you see yourself as someone who is supported, money confirms that identity. Belief influences risk. Those without belief take reckless risks or avoid all risk. Those with belief take calculated risks guided by intuition. Intuition sharpens when fear quiets. Inner certainty removes the need for approval. Approval seeking leads to underpricing, overworking, and resentment. Certainty sets air value and attracts respect. Hard work often becomes a substitute for belief. People work harder to avoid examining what they truly believe. But no amount of labor can override deep assumptions. Words spoken during emotional moments carry extra weight. Complaints spoken in frustration imprint deeply. Gratitude spoken sincerely restructures expectation. Belief creates coherence. Coherence aligns thought, emotion, and action. When these are aligned, results accelerate naturally. Money is not impressed by effort alone. It responds to clarity, confidence, and congruence. When your words match your belief and your belief matches your actions, flow begins. Inner certainty allows you to release control. Releasing control removes tension. Tension blocks perception. Perception is how opportunities are recognized. Hard work done in doubt drains energy. Hard work done in belief multiplies energy. The same action produces different outcomes depending on inner state. Belief must be practiced, not forced. Gentle repetition is more powerful than intense declarations. Calm statements sink deeper than loud affirmations. Words spoken about others' success also matter. Envy blocks flow. Appreciation expands it. Celebrating wealth trains the mind to accept it. Inner certainty develops through consistency. Each small confirmation strengthens it. Each aligned result reinforces belief. Money responds to stability. Stability comes from belief. When belief is steady, income becomes stead. Why? Volatility often reflects inner conflict. Hard work may open doors, but belief determines which doors stay open. Without belief, success feels temporary. With belief, it feels inevitable. Words can either anchor you to the past or invite the future. Speaking from lack anchors you. Speaking from expectation pulls you forward. Inner certainty is not arrogance, it is quiet knowing. Arrogance compensates for doubt. Knowing requires no performance. When belief, words, and certainty align, money stops being a problem to solve and becomes a response to who you are. Effort becomes efficient. Action becomes guided. Results arrive in forms that feel natural, timely, and supportive. Ease activates abundance when resistance, fear, and guilt are released. Most people believe ease must be earned later, after sacrifice, pain, or proof. This belief quietly postpones abundance indefinitely. Ease is not a reward at the end of struggle. It is a state that allows abundance to move in the first place. When ease is absent, flow is blocked. When ease is present, movement accelerates. Resistance is the primary blocker of wealth. Resistance appears as tension, overthinking, and emotional rigidity. It is the inner refusal to accept that things can work out smoothly. When you resist life, life resists you. Money feels heavy because resistance makes every interaction strained. Removing resistance does not mean ignoring reality. It means stopping the internal argument with it. Fear disguises its LF as responsibility. People say they are being realistic, careful, or practical. But underneath is fear of loss, fear of judgment, or fear of failure. Fear contracts perception. Contracted perception misses opportunities that feel too unfamiliar or too good to be true. Ease expands perception, allowing you to see options you could not see before. Guilt is one of the most overlooked barriers to wealth. Many people feel guilty about wanting more, having more, or receiving easily. They associate wealth with selfishness, inequality, or moral compromise. This guilt creates an unconscious need to self-punish. Life responds by making money difficult, inconsistent, or fleeting. Ease requires permission. You must internally allow things to go well. Without permission, success feels uncomfortable. People sabotage comfort because it conflicts with their self-image. Releasing guilt means allowing yourself to receive without apology. Resistance also shows up as excessive control. The need to control every outcome comes from distrust. Distrust signals danger. Money avoids danger. When you release control, you signal trust. Trust invites cooperation from people, timing, and circumstances. Fear creates urgency. Urgency leads to rushed decisions. Rushed decisions often cost more than patience ever would. Ease restores patience. Patience preserves capital, energy, and clarity. Ease is not passivity, it is receptivity. A receptive state allows information, ideas, and opportunities to react. When the mind is crowded with fear, nothing new can enter. When the mind relaxes, insight arrives naturally. Guilt often comes from comparison. Seeing others struggle makes ease feel undeserved. But abundance is not a limited resource. Another person's lack is not caused by your gain. Releasing comparison releases guilt. Resistance is reinforced by old stories. Stories about money being dangerous, corrupting, or divisive keep ease away. When money is seen as neutral and supportive, the body relaxes. A relaxed body makes better decisions. Fear also distorts time. Fear makes everything feel urgent or delayed. Ease brings a sense of right timing. When timing feels right, action is clean and effective. Guilt can appear after success as well. People receive money and immediately look for ways to lose it, give it away prematurely, or create chaos. This restores familiarity. Familiar struggle feels safer than unfamiliar ease. Recognizing this pattern is the first step to breaking it. Ease allows you to listen inwardly. Intuition speaks softly, fear is loud. When fear dominates, intuition is drowned out. Ease lowers the volume so guidance can be heard. Resistance drains energy. Drained energy leads to burnout. Burnout clouds judgment. Clouded judgment creates financial mistakes. Ease conserves energy. Conserved energy compounds. Fear narrows options. Ease multiplies them. When you feel at ease, you consider alternatives instead of reacting impulsively. Alternatives incur ease leverage. Guilt often comes from inherited beliefs. Family narratives about money being hard, unfair, or dangerous are passed down unconsciously. Releasing guilt means choosing new beliefs without needing permission from the past. Ease changes how you are perceived. People are drawn to those who are relaxed and confident. Opportunities often arrive through people. When you embody ease, people want to work with you, help you, and include you. Resistance shows up in language. Phrases filled with have to, should, and must signal pressure. Ease replaces them with I choose, I allow, and I expect. Language softens behavior. Fear creates tunnel vision. Tunnel vision focuses only on survival. Ease allows creative thinking. Creativity is a major source of wealth because it produces value without proportional effort. Guilt makes receiving uncomfortable. Compliments are deflected. Opportunities are downplayed. Money is minimized. Ease allows you to receive fully, anchoring abundance in your life. Resistance can also be emotional attachment to outcomes. When you cling to a specific result, you resist alternatives that may be better. Ease allows flexibility. Flexibility increases success. Fear creates defensive behavior. Defensive behavior repels collaboration. Ease invites collaboration. Collaboration multiplies results faster than solo effort. Guilt often hides behind humility. True humility is calm and grounded. Guilt-based humility is self-reduction. Self-reduction limits income because value is underrepresented. Ease brings emotional neutrality. Emotional neutrality allows rational decisions. Rational decisions protect wealth. Resistance often increases when things start improving. This is the moment many people sabotage themselves. Ease requires staying relaxed even when success appears. Fear exaggerates risk. Ease evaluates risk accurately. Accurate evaluation leads to sustainable growth. Guilt ties worth to effort. Ease unties worth from effort. When worth is inherent, compensation rises naturally. Resistance is exhausting. Ease is efficient. Efficiency compounds over time into wealth. Fear fragments attention. Ease focuses it. Focus improves execution. Guilt creates an unconscious need to justify success. Ease allows success to exist without explanation. When resistance drops, money moves faster. When fear dissolves, decisions sharpen. When guilt releases, receiving stabilizes. Ease becomes the environment in which abundance feels normal, expected, and continuous, where effort aligns naturally, where opportunities feel timely, where actions feel guided, where wealth no longer feels like something to fight for, but something that flows in response to an inner state that is calm, open, and unburdened.